Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this. I'm hoping to convey some of the vision behind this worship library survey. Today's worship culture has developed a new one of these, okay? This is the classic hymnal that used to be completely familiar church-wide across many churches, as this was done decade after decade after decade after decade. So doing 5 songs a Sunday from here would mean that you didn't even repeat a song till 2.5, 3 years later. There's just a huge collection here. Today's worship culture also has a huge collection. This collection is not printed. We can't see it like this, but this is all of the songs that we recognize, we're familiar with. They're used with musical language, with harmonies and hooks that we resonate with today. So we may not carry around a physical hymnal, but there's certainly a similar collection of worship songs that are like organically impressed upon our hearts. Some would suggest that it's either this contemporary or traditional kind of approach. But I say that this is an included step in all of this, right? If this is a little chronological timeline, before the hymnal, there's a lot of our worship songs are based and written right off of the poetic psalms in the Bible. And then came along this point in time where the printing press really just became huge, and that enabled for this type of thing to happen. And then after this just came all kinds of exponential additions to the worship ministries brought about by like recording industry, distribution, the increase in concerts, conferences, really the start of Christian music radio and the hugeness that is, Christian film and all the songs there, the digital tools that put production into the hands of all of us common folk, and the social media invention of all that connects all of that together. Songs get put in front of us all the time through video montages or whatever it might be. And all of these make the worship atmosphere totally ripe for plentiful songwriting, recording, sharing of ideas. It's definitely truly an amazing time to witness such a worship explosion. And as you might imagine, it's a hot topic among worship leaders and conferences, with the growing challenge to have our congregational worship time have this important component of being familiar with the music. How do we do that, right? We don't want to create a gap. There was a large enough gap in the Dark Ages when the Bible was preached and sung, worship was sung all in a language that wasn't of the common folk. And when that got translated to English, then mankind, at least our mankind that speaks English, exited the Dark Ages. We don't want to contribute to that type of unhealthy gap between band, vocal leadership, and overall church congregation. We don't want to do that through song unfamiliarity or by like tricky songs or songs that are out of a vocal range, maybe songs that have bad theology. We know that it's best to pastor our congregations in such a way that our worship time is achievable, recognizable, inspiring, and above all, glorifying to God. So picking a library involves all of us to apply some divine discernment. Think like a preaching pastor trying to plan over the sermons for a calendar year, right? They're using the Bible. The Bible is enormous also and so full. To preach this in the course of a year, 52 Sunday mornings, would be quite difficult. It could be many months or years before favorite scriptures are unpacked, or that verse that we should be teaching more regularly, different people's opinions on favorite important things. But that shouldn't stop us. It should rather be the catalyst for regular Bible studies that we could do in other settings or on our own. Likewise, with our worship time, we want great varieties of style, setting, and song choices that can happen at any point during our week. But what we focus on Sunday morning is this corporate emphasis we're trying to put. So just like a pastor picks a sermon series, we're trying to do that within this great collection of worship songs for our song library that has a focus on our church body and our revised mission statement. So a strong method is to refine, as I've described on this webpage, about 40 plus songs as the core. And then this takes about 9+ weeks before even repeating. So there's an ability to repeat songs and get these really written on our hearts for the band, the vocals, to free them up more. Memorizing for us, not have to be so dependent on staring at a projector, to know the story better of all these songs. And each month, the way this would keep growing with our culture, each month we might take a song out and add a new song into that. Now, it's not necessarily adding a brand new song. It could be adding an old one. It could be adding a middle-aged one. But morphing this collection to always reflect 2 things. One, celebrating God in his worldwide setting as all of this worship culture is reaching to do that, grab a hold of the witness of God worldwide through varying testimonies, revivals, a unique thing that certain colleges are doing out there, Christian film, radio, things that come out virally, just churches and the movements that happen, missions, all kinds of things on this worldwide, but then also locally embracing songs that speak to our demographic right here, our revised church mission, vision, and strategy. So we've got these kind of rules for this little thing, but then also we want to break these rules whenever possible, right? This could be maybe an original song or a special request from a speaking pastor for a particular Sunday, something that really hit at a men's retreat, women's retreat. Yeah, let's put that into our mix. That's us, right? A special connection to a sermon series, all of these different things. So wow, huge. And whatever this might be, I'm hoping that you'll help me shape this by giving me your feedback on these surveys. This will really help give me a pulse on us and your help with discernment. Our desires for our worship gatherings to be an abundant blessing to God, a joyful rejuvenation of our own spiritual development. It's really amazing how the creativity of the worship industry keeps presenting so many fresh perspectives through song. So I encourage you to go through these two lists as an act of worship to God. All right? Have a great time, and please email any other thoughts, comments you've got.